Hey, it's been a while since I've uploaded a video, and I've been working on these MIDI visualizer patches. I think I'm at the point where I want to show how to build each module of this type of thing from scratch. I want to start with the piano one. And eventually I'll show how to build this fourth one, this harmonic table thing I just made a video for. So let's do that. This requires a jit.world to start with, and and some MIDI in MIDI parse to unpack our note and velocity number. And so in this piano module thing, I'm just showing what note is being played, regardless of what octave it's in. So I'm using this idea of a pitch class number, which really just means I take the MIDI number and I do mod 12 to it to get a number between 0 and 11, just to show what that is. Let me kind of blow this up a little bit. So, if you start at 0, you get 0. As you go up to 11, you wrap back around to 12, and then you're always getting a number between 0 and 11, which is what I want, because I'm only dealing with the 12 pitches. So this number will tell me, what the pitch class of our MIDI number is. Right. And for the velocity, all I want to know is whether a note is there or not. So I just care if the velocity is greater than 0. Right. So this is all I really need here. Okay. So like C is 0, G is 7, C sharp would be 1, D would be 2, like that. And it doesn't matter where I play the C, that's always 0. C sharp's always 1, like so. So once I've got that, I could use this number. Originally I thought, let me take a grid shape and I'll make it kind of smallish. Okay, and let's say I would use this number to control the position of the shape. This is kind of how I started thinking about this. These numbers are kind of big for jit.world. I'd have to pull the camera way out just to see it go from 0 to 12. So let's say comment, I want this so I can put a position there. Okay. So let's say I pulled this out and I pop that into there. Right, I can use that to animate the position of this grid shape. That's okay, but I want this to be, polyphonic. I want there to be any number of notes when I'm playing like chords. Well, really up to 12, because all I care about are these 12 pitch classes. So the way I'm going to go about this is using GL multiple. And I'm just going to worry about the position at first. And I need to write GL params position. Right? And to kind of show how that works, I want to just use a blank matrix with 12 cells in it. 12, technically 12 by 1, just to show what that looks like. Let's use a cell block. And bang into there. Okay. So there's our 12 cells. So what I'm doing after that is I send this into a jit.gen so I can write a little patch that's going to operate on every cell of that matrix that comes in. So this is going to happen per cell. I want to get out some values to represent our positions. I'm going to use the sign normalized coordinates of that matrix, and I need to do this to get the x component of that. So this spits out a coordinate based on where this cell is in this matrix. Since this is on a straight line, because there's only one, it's 12 by 1, I just need this number, which is going to be between -1 and 1. In this case, I'm kind of setting up like all of these shapes that are going to live in a row. So let me show that. So if I did that and I spit this out there, I'm going to need one of these. Let's do this and squeeze these together a little bit. Okay. So they're all kind of clumped together. Let's come back closer. Let's give this a little more. Let's make it lighting and smooth shading. Okay, so yeah, all 12 of these, I'll take this one out, are all clumped together, going from -1 to 1. I want to spread that out a bit. So I'm gonna, the same way I can do a scale in regular Max. And this way, this patch, I'm going to create a param called spread on the x-axis. And then I'm going to multiply this times that value, which I'm going to change later. I want this to be 1 by default. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. It's the same. So now we can send in this message, spread x. Send a float into there and into there. And I kind of want this to like re-trigger that matrix to come through. So now we can spread these out a bit. Okay, there we go. And this kind of technique is like the basis for a lot of animation stuff that I've been trying to do with JitGL multiple, playing with the position of objects in there. I think in the other video on JitGL multiple videos that I did, I'm just sending like noise into here, but with this type of thing, I want to send very specific values in. Okay, so that's how we're going to set the positions of our piano. And since I'm trying to make like a piano shape, actually, I want some of these to be raised up on the y-axis. So I'm going to do that in here with another param that's going to be spread y. Okay, so let's do this. And I'm going to I want this to only happen for cells, 0, 1. So let's say C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F. I only want this to happen for C sharp, D sharp, where am I? E, F, F sharp, G sharp, A, F sharp, 0, 1, 2, 3, 6. So that's F sharp. I want F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. So I'm getting kind of specific with it, but this works. If I do this again. So whereas this gives you the coordinate of this cell from -1 to 1, cell just tells you what the actual number, like what the integer number of it is. So like in that spreadsheet in jit.cellblock, I'll just show it once again. It's easier to visualize these with a cell block here. Okay, zoom out a bit. So what cell gives you is the position with integers. It says this is cell 0, 0. This is cell 1, 0. This is cell 2, 0. We're increasing on the x. If there were other columns, then one here would be like cell 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, going this way, and so on. So I want that number. I want the x part of it. And there's only certain ones I want to do this other operation for. And those are what? 1, which is C sharp. 3, which is D sharp. E, F, F sharp. G sharp. And B flat. Okay, so if any one of these, if this cell that we're currently looking at is any one of these on the x-axis, then I want to add a little bit to the y component of this position. Okay, so this is kind of a weird way I think to do it, but I want a 0 to fire off every time this happens, so I can push through this message. I want to add spread y. See, so like 0 is a constant, it'll just shoot off every time this whole operation occurs. I thought I could just do spread y like a constant like that, but it doesn't work for parameters. So I'm just going to say 0 plus that number, and I'm going to multiply it times 1 if any of these are a 1, then this number will be a 1, or it'll be whatever this number is times 1. Otherwise it's times 0 and it's not there. You get the picture. So that looks like this. On the outside we got send spread y, and I also want to put a float here so I can set it, and I want to kind of re-trigger this matrix again. Okay, so we can, oh, it's already doing it a little bit. There we go. So here, each of these cells has a little bit added to its y position. Right, and now it does kind of start to look like a keyboard, right? C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. There you go. So these positions are already fixed. They're predetermined, the same way the keys on a piano have predetermined positions. As opposed to like moving the shape around using the position message like I was doing before. What I want to show really is whether or not that note is present, which I'm going to do with the velocity and the scale. So let me go here and add another param to this scale. They're all going to go away because the scale's 0 right now. Let's see here. Okay, so we want to send a matrix in for scale. I'm going to need another matrix like this, and here I'm going to use the set cell message. I'm going to use it with a pack. Set cell. We're going to pick the cell based on the note number, and then we're going to set it to the scale that we want. Okay, so get rid of this. I'm going to need this number to do two things. Go here, and this is going to go set cell I. So I want to pick the cell based on this number. And the value I'm going to set it to, I'm going to hard code it for now. It'll just be 0.5 or 0. Be on or off. So I'll do a select 1. No, I'll do select 0. And if it's 0, then the scale will be 0. And that's the XYZ, so I'm setting all XYZ to 0. If it's 1, then I'm just going to set it to 0.5. Once again, look at it with the cell block here. And then after I do that, then I can bang this pack message, which will send this message into the matrix here. Let's see. And I need to, well, I'm going to be triggering these with the draw bangs coming out of world. So I don't want that anymore. You're getting sent that. You're getting sent that. Here we are. So this matrix, there you go. So if I play C, there's going to be 0.5 in this cell. If I play, you know, triad like here, you've got C at 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is E, 5, 6, 7, which is G. So there's the triad. Okay, so that shows what nodes are active. Now, I think actually that will give me, there we go. So let me play with the scale here. Actually take this out. Don't want to mess with the scale outside of that. Do this. No. All right. Just give it a scale of 1. Say that. Doesn't like that. Oh, they're maybe too big. If I do that. Right. Let's see. Oh, we probably have to pull the camera back. Let's do no scale message here. Pull this camera back. I think I'm, yes, it's very large. Let's set the scale of this multiple. Let's do that. Then we can shrink them all down at once. Okay. That. Scale and camera position kind of get finicky with each other. So you've got to be playing with that. Here, let's set this to be small. Let's bring this back in. There we go. Now it covers our whole range here. Then this, oh, this can kind of be spread out this way. That could be spread out that way. Okay, and this way, I mean, you get the picture. There's all 12 of them held down. They're already there, and you know, the presence of a note just controls the scale. All right, that's pretty much it. In the video I showed, I had like a ring around that position, so you can use these positions for other objects. So let's say I send that to there, and instead of a grid shape, I'll do this. I found this to be like a good ring shape, thin ring line. Okay, and then the scale, I want to be slightly different. So what do? I'll just copy all of this over here, send a whole other list here. Instead of 0.5, I'll make it 0.8, let's say. We'll give you that scale. And I know there's something I've got to initialize that these need to be the same scale. Let's see, what else? You're getting the position, you're getting the scale, this slightly different scale, and I need to make sure that I'm sending drawbanks to that one. There we go. So let me bring the camera in, squeeze the spread down, change the scale here. There you go. This is kind of interesting because if you're playing like regular voicings, let's say I play right this, your closed shapes and your open shapes are going to be the same. There's all kinds of interesting little features to looking at notes this way when it's just the pitch class. So there you go. That's let's see, note circle. I'm going to replace the other version of that I did, and that's part 1 of that. Enjoy. Thank you. Goodbye.